Hey, good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Baphomet and Freemasonry. Hold on just a second. I got to get out of the scrubs, man. I'm just getting on. I have my tonight guest is going to be Donald. I'm calling this brother Donald. How did I mess your name up? Brother Stevens. I'm just brother Darnell Stevens. I'm gonna say Donald. Yeah. So I have brother Darnell Stevens online tonight, and we're gonna be talking about Baphomet and the process. How did Baphomet become part of this thing we call Freemasonry? So we're gonna be talking about that. So I'm hoping that you're going to be enjoying tonight's show. So please come on, get on in, and we're about to get started here. So like I said, I have brother Darnell Stevens on tonight. So brother Darnell,
Yes,
yeah, you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
All right. So we're gonna get in right here with the Baphomet. What do you think about Baphomet, and how did it become part of Freemasonry as we know it today? What's your opinion about that?
It's a symbol. You know what I mean? It's just like, when you get into, in a nut, the best way, how can I start this? I'll start this with your initiation.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that we do in Freemasonry, it's all based off anatomy.
Uh-huh.
It's all based off common sense, and it's all based off an allegorical ritual.
Right.
And so a good allegory to begin with is to look at everything that we do in Freemasonry.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can go find our books. Everybody can go get anything that we have about Freemasonry. But unless you've done the rituals, unless you've been in the lodge, and unless you've done all those things, this like anything that you look at in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we look at in the world is upside down.
Oh.
Everything that we look at is totally upside down. And it is not until those images touch our optic nerve, and our optic nerve is able to flip those images upside down with right side up, which gives us the proper perspective.
Right.
That's why anybody could go buy those books, but they don't have a clue as to what they're seeing. So when it comes to, like a lot of people will ask the question, hey, you guys are Freemasons. Do you guys worship Lucifer?
Uh-huh.
Most people don't even understand the triune aspect of Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
When you just go to the dictionary and you look up Lucifer, you're gonna see it's gonna say Venus. It's gonna allude to the folklore of the Bible.
Okay.
And things of that nature. And when they go look that up and they see Venus, they're like, well, I don't. That throws them off. They don't understand. And why would Freemasonry take something like Lucifer and hold on to it?
Mm-hmm.
All Lucifer is light. Period. Mm-hmm. It's not referring to the demon, the devil, and any of that. When you look out at night at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
and you look at the sky, you're gonna see Venus. Venus is gonna be the brightest star shining.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see that star, what you're seeing is a legitimate symbol in astronomy that's saying, hey, there's a whole lot of light coming behind me, which is the sun. You see what I'm saying? And that is what Lucifer is. Lucifer is light. But if you have a childlike perspective that was passed on to you from religion, then when you hear the word Lucifer, you think in the devil.
Mm-hmm.
But even when you look at, the concept of Lucifer or the devil in the Bible, when you go back to the Garden of Eden, you have to really ask yourself a serious question.
Right.
What did Lucifer do? If you really go back and read what took place with Adam and Eve, he actually taught them how to be God.
Wait a minute. Time out. Now I'm gonna get hit real hard on this one, right? They're gonna get real hard, bruh.
That's fine, but it's the facts of the fact.
Go back now. Now go back and repeat what you just said. As for what did Lucifer do in the garden? Go back. Go back to that, cause you know I'm gonna get hit real hard on that one.
Right, but when you go back, go back and read that story when Eve, was presented with this fruit, and Lucifer, devil, or whoever said, "Hey, eat that."
Mm-hmm.
He told them, he said, "Or you ain't gonna die."
Right.
That was a fact. They
Mm-hmm.
really weren't gonna die. He said, "Hey, if you eat this, you're gonna have God-like knowledge."
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. I got a brother here. He says that Lucifer was not in the garden.
What's that?
This brother here, Robert House, he's a brother that always come on. He said that Lucifer was not in the garden.
Well, whoever it was in the garden literally.
Okay.
Whoever you want. You can call them whoever you want, but whoever that entity was provided knowledge that liberated them. They were liberated. Now, the question people have to ask themselves is, had they stayed in the garden, what would have been their state? They
Right.
would have been walking. They would have been animals. They would needed to have to cover themselves up. They would have had the same cognition as that of an animal. Who wants to walk around and not know good from evil, right from wrong, and things of that nature?
Mm-hmm. Well, according to the brother Robert House, he posted just a second ago is that Lucifer is only mentioned one time in the Bible.
That's true.
And he goes on to say that Lucifer was an allegory, a proverbs for the king of Babylon.
But even that's an allegory.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's even within an allegory,
Mm-hmm.
which is a whole nother ball game. But at the end of the day, there was liberation that took place.
Okay.
Because that serpent represented life.
Mm-hmm.
That serpent represented life. So when we get into the Baphomet is nothing but a symbol of balance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When you get into the caduceus that sits in the genitalia area of the Baphomet, that is life, that is health.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be real. If they, I think it's Neiman Marcus or one of the high-end retailers, they sell semen so people can rub it on their face as a face cream for like $800 a jar.
Really?
This is facts. You see what I'm saying? Semen is one of the semen has been proven to reduce depression. It's used as a face cream. It gives life, and we can go on and on and on. And most people would think, "Oh man, that's some crazy stuff to say." This is all facts.
Wait a minute. Wait. You lost me. Go back. You went from talking. Well, you said semen.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You got my attention. Go ahead.
I would challenge anybody to go and Google face cream semen and see what they come up with, and they're gonna see these high-end retailers selling it for $800 for little bitty jars of it.
Okay, so I want to kind of stay on topic. So how did the semen manage to come in place with the with Baphomet? Yeah.
Well, I say that because in the growing area of the Baphomet, a caduceus is there.
Oh.
Which is a symbol of.
Okay, gotcha.
And so I mean, we really wasn't off topic, but and the feet of hooves, this is no different than when you look at the compass, the G and the square. When you look at the compass G and the square, when you flip it upside down, it's the resemblance of a goat head.
Oh, okay.
And the reason that is because when you take a compass, you take a square, you look at it face up, you can look at it and see that could be a man mounting a woman with her legs spread open.
Ooh.
And the fruit of that is a sure-footed animal, which is a kid or a goat.
They are not allowing me in this bullshit. I don't know who is RS, but anyway. So Brother House stated, he said the serpent has always been associated with wisdom and healing, and is why Moses placed a serpent on the staff.
Right. And that was awesome wisdom that liberated Adam and Eve out of that Edenic state.
Okay, got you. Okay. I don't know who this guy is or lady is named RS. They said they are not allowing me in this BS or bullshit. I don't know who that person is. I wish people would if you don't like the conversation, please move on and find one that you like. But continue on, bro.
Right.
Oh, okay. So
but the thing is,
gotcha.
all of this is symbols. There ain't no serpent. You know what I'm saying? Baphomet is a symbol of balance.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm Darnell, brother Darnell. Okay, so brother, he said he mean Freemasonry. They're not about to let me in the lodge. They're about letting me in. Okay, brother RS. My apologies, bro, but I thought you was on something else. But go ahead. As you were saying, brother Darnell.
All of these are symbols. You know what I'm saying? This is just story, bro.
Yeah, I'm
you know
listening.
What I'm saying? So to get caught up into any literal concepts is actually childish. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at the Baphomet, all we're looking at is a symbol.
Right.
That's it. It's a symbol that represents balance. You know what I'm saying? And that's all. In a nutshell, that's what this is. It's a symbol of balance.
Okay. So I was reading. I have been doing some reading on Baphomet, and I came across a piece where it dealt with the Knights Templars. They're saying that the Knights Templar were supposed to. This is where the Knights Templar were falsely accused of worshiping and gotten killed because they incorporated into the desperate occult or the mystery or the mystical teachings. So when they were supposed to have been looking and digging under the temple mount of King Solomon, they came across some other teachings, and this in turn they began to worship Baphomet, and then afterwards the Pope issued that edicts that had them killed. Now how true is that? I don't know, but this is something that I had pulled up on.
Well, it's true. The Knights Templar did have it as a symbol, but think about this. If you're not a Knights Templar, how could you know how they viewed the Baphomet?
Right.
You couldn't know. So their slaughter was all based in ignorance. These were not ignorant men.
Okay.
These was running around worshiping ghosts. These were men who understood balance. And a lot went back to that scripture in the Bible where it said if you break it down, it says that Adam was a hermaphrodite. It says that God created him male and female. He created them.
Whoa.
There was no Eve.
Wait a minute. You're saying that there was no Eve created when God created Adam and Eve, or
when he created Adam?
Oh.
He said, let us create man in our own image. In our image, we created them, male and female. There was no Eve yet.
Oh.
Eve was later pulled from his rib, and this is where a lot of
so you're speaking of because from what I've read, there are two creations in the Bible.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to stay on topic.
Right. So again, the Knights Templar and anybody who deals in, who looks at that image or that symbol, it's just a symbol of balance. But if you have religious conditioning and see that image through the cognition of religion or any superstitious manner, then you're going to associate that with the devil. But you can step on that and go a little bit further to say, if you represent the devil, if a person is worshiping the devil, they're still worshiping God.
Hold on just a second. Brother Robert House says, no. These two creation stories in chapter 1 doesn't speak of creating of Adam and Eve. So, Brother House, I'd like for you to elaborate on that a little bit as we proceed to go forward, and just to get your perspective on the fact that you said that they don't speak of the creation of Adam and Eve. So, if they don't, then where does this? I know that there are two creations. So, with there being two creations, I know one speak of Adam, or God putting Adam into a deep sleep, and he bringing forth woman out of man, out of the rib of man, or making woman from man. I know of that creation, and then there's another creation when he talks about, okay, that he goes down how he makes man. So that's what I'm looking at. Go ahead, brother Darnell.
Right, but it's all balance, bro. It's all about balance. And when you really start combing these doctrines and see like where certain things spur off, it gets real interesting. But the Baphomet is nothing but a symbol of balance. It's a symbol of balance, and for somebody to even get involved, with the devil and God and all that, I don't see it as different than hot and cold. They all come from the same source. It's temperature.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When anybody who's ever studied air conditioning, or things of that nature, they'll tell you there's no such thing as hot or cold. It's all temperature.
Hey, Brother Darnell. Yeah. Hey, do me a favor. I'm gonna give you another number to call in on, okay? Okay, you're gonna call me at 619 2. Okay.
Hold on. 619.
Yeah, 286 0642. 0642. Yeah, call me at that. Yeah, call me at that number.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So look, everyone, Darnell, he's going to be calling me back at another number here. Gonna get him on. We're gonna bring him back live. But definitely, he was from what I'm gathering and what he's breaking down in regards to Baphomet. Because what happens is, we all know that how people like to talk about Freemasonry and its worship of Satan and the devil and all of that. Go ahead, bro. I got you.
Right.
I'm back.
All right. Yeah, this is all balance, bro. It is balance.
Okay.
It ain't about no devil. It ain't about none of that, man. Anybody who could look at that type of symbol and get involved with that, more than likely they never done no research on the topic. It comes from emotions. That people are like, oh my God, this that's not what we should be dealing in.
Right.
That's superstition. That's an enemy. Superstition and ignorance is last time I checked, those were two enemies of Freemasonry.
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, when you get into the 32nd degree, it tells you that is one of the most. I want to be cautious about how I'm going to say this, but if you are a 32nd degree Masonry, you know that is one of the things that is mentioned in the 32nd degree. It asks you, what are we fighting against? If I'm not, that is what it asks you. That is totally what it asks you. And you brought up superstitions and ignorance. But go ahead, Brother Darnell.
Right. And superstition and ignorance, what it produces is bad emotions. And bad emotions lead to bad actions. Think about it. People were slaughtered. You know what I'm saying behind that?
Yeah.
Obviously, the Knights Templar they were slaughtered. And so many other people are slaughtered, all due to ignorance and superstition.
Right. Okay. Brother Darnell, what I forgot to do this evening was definitely to introduce you, because we went we went right into it. I mean, we went hard. So let me introduce Brother Darnell Stevens here. Brother Darnell Stevens is a member of Hosea Lodge number 7, Ancient Free and Accepted Masons. He now resides in Texas. He has received his 32nd degree, the Ancient Scepter Scottish Rite, also a Knights Templar. He also received his 90. Is that your 90th degree you received, right?
Yes, The
Yeah,
90th.
90th degree. So I don't want you thinking I just have somebody on tonight that don't know, that do not know what they're talking about. So Brother Darnell is very well, I would say, versed in what we were talking about. Also, he's a former minister in the Navy. Am I right, Brother Darnell? Or correct me. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I was a religious program specialist.
Okay, okay. So he knows what he's talking about, a religious program specialist. So he's on tap. He's on tap. So go ahead, Brother Darnell.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a Baphomet statue put up somewhere. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was in Detroit, and people lost their minds, bro. They lost their minds.
Okay.
But it's just a symbol of balance. It's not. These weren't. I mean, these weren't no devil worshippers that said, "Hey, man, let's go put this devil stuff up." No, that's not what that was.
Yeah, I see some people. You know, when you tell some people about your background, they tend, if they've never been exposed to a person who has a 90th degree, or those who may have 96 degrees, they tend to take it lightly. So I'm kind of reading some of the context that people are leaving. But go ahead. This brother was laughing out loud, 90th degree, but he has no clue because he probably hadn't been there. And that's this gentleman by the name of R.S. But he's going blah blah blah. I would say to this person, R.S., who's on tonight, if you really have something constructive you want to say, please go right ahead. As a matter of fact, if you want to be part of the topic to actually speak on it, you're welcome to do and call. However, if you don't have anything to add to it, poof, be gone, move on. Go ahead, Darnell.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everything that we're dealing with in Freemasonry is symbols. And if you have no familiarity with the symbols, and think about it, a symbol is nothing but a parable. Parable is a dark saying. And in order to it's same with the Bible is a dark saying. The Bible was never written for regular people to understand it. It was a book written by sages and men of wisdom, and they wrote that thing so that people with light can understand it and use it to move forward. This is why church is so impotent. Church is impotent because they have that book and they have no light or no keys to unlock it. And if you don't have no light or no keys to unlock this symbol of Baphomet, then yeah, it's demonic. You're going to only view that symbol from the point of emotions, which is based on ignorance and things of that nature. And most people function in that realm when it comes to a lot of this stuff.
Okay. So when you look at people who don't quite understand Freemasonry as far as that concerned, because we hear it all the time, or that brother ride that goat. Do you think that continues to add to the I don't know, because we all know about the goat when we talk about it. But when other people talk about the goat, what do you think they're talking about?
In lore or basic, what the average person understands as a goat, it always has something to do with the devil, because goats eat trash, and things of that nature. But in the context of what we're talking about, you can find goats standing on the side of mountains.
Okay.
They can traverse areas that the average animal could not, which gives them the ability to escape predators. So when we find that goat, in Freemasonry, we are, how do I say this? we are standing on sure-footed men. Those are sure-footed men. Those are sure-footed men standing, and performing that ritual.
Okay.
But the average person is not taught to look at it that way.
Okay, because I'm reading this stuff that this gentleman is putting up. I don't know. I don't know if I wouldn't even call him a brother or not. The Bible is taken from Egypt. All allegories Not true at all. Okay, so we got that part, RS.
Yeah, we definitely understand that, but do you have the keys to unlock it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the right to illuminate those scriptures and advance the consciousness of the masses?
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, the answer is no. Because the people who are able to do that,
Mm-hmm.
these are people with the wisdom, Solomon type wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So when you look at that whole concept, that whole construct, as don't pay me any attention, laughing aloud, work on your degrees. Yeah, we're gonna work on our degrees. You know, it's not all about degrees, as you may say there, Roberts, RS. So RS, you're welcome to call in tonight if you choose to do so. But I will tell you this: I will hang the phone up on you if you are bringing that BS here. This is not that place. But if you want to have a serious conversation or a dialogue, you're certainly welcome to call in. I'm okay with that. I just won't put up with the BS. So enjoy the show, or like I said, kick rocks and move on. There's no disrespect here on anybody's part. If you got something viable that you need to say, and we think is gonna bring some context to the show, do that. And that's what gets me a lot of times, Brother Donnell. People call the show, or people talk a good game in regards to some stuff, but when push come to shove, then they don't want to come on live. They don't want to do this. They don't want the conversation.
Right.
And the ideal is that this is what it's all about. It's about good dialogue, having a conversation in regards to Freemasonry and what people see, but what really happens in the fraternal order of Freemasonry. Go ahead, Brother Darnell. You can continue. Go ahead.
Right. I mean, I'm going to keep saying it, man. All this stuff is about balance and context, and this type of stuff, you can't, from a fraternal perspective,
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't been initiated, you have no context.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you haven't taken the time to study,
Mm-hmm.
what a Baphomet is symbolically,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know. So to even say anything is kind of counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it just adds to the ignorance. And we should be coming amongst each other to reason,
Mm-hmm.
and seek understanding and seek more light. That's what I thought we were seeking. You know what I'm saying? And everything that we do, we should be seeking more light, more understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So to get into the rhetoric of, tearing it down, hey, let's build.
Okay.
Let's build. We don't need to tear each other down. There's enough of that going on.
Yeah,
I'm limited in what I know. We all are. We're all limited in what we know. But if we're all willing to share what we know, that's iron sharpening iron.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually we'll be able to do some things.
Right. So what I've come across also is that I know that the Church of Satan uses the image of Baphomet, and it's actually that image that we now see didn't appear until 1897. That's the information I have on it. I also realized that not only did it appear in 1897, but the guy who founded the Church of Satan, he actually took that image and added it to his church.
Right.
And now he's actually suing people for actually using it, because I don't know if he copyrighted it or whatever, but he's actually suing people.
Right. I believe he did.
Let me see. Let's see. I think you are absolutely right. He did sue for people using an image. Absolutely. That is crazy. Yes. And he says they continue to be used amongst the Satanists. So that's how that whole thing came in. So actually they took an image and carved it and made it theirs, and now it is assumed that it deals with Satan, when it really doesn't.
You can look at this, and you can parallel it with the swastika. You know what I'm saying? When the average person, when that image pops into their mind,
Mm-hmm.
it initially goes back to Hitler, the Nazis, and things nature. But where the hell did he get it from? You see what I'm saying? He got that image from traveling the world. You know what I'm saying? When he went to all these different places, he saw that symbol.
Yeah,
he turned it around and made it his own. And that's the exact same thing that this guy did.
Yeah, so what I'm
already out there, and he made it his own.
Right. So what I'm finding out is that he sued. One of the brothers put up. Brother Gilmore said that he sued Netflix, and the other brother said, let's see, oh, it was for copyright infringements. Oh, snaps! He didn't copyrighted that thing and ended up suing Netflix. Wow.
Right. I mean, you can copyright anything.
That's interesting. I wonder if people try to copyright the square and compass, how would that then? I'm going to change the subject. As a matter of fact, I know our topic tonight is about Baphomet, but you mentioned copyright infringements, and I noticed I have a book on Freemasonry and being in court and people suing other fraternal orders in regards to that. When you mentioned copyright infringement, that just took me back to that. And that's a funny thing when you actually take something that's already out there and then you put a copyright on it and now you own it. That's crazy to me. But go ahead.
Right. I mean, it's all you can take it. You know, it's a lot of these images have been taken, you know, and used by other people for dark purposes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but and this is where the ignorance will come back and bite you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't know the history, if you don't know who these people are, what they're doing, none of it makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes, truth be told, if you're not a Mason, Masonry shit makes sense to you anyway. Because you haven't been initiated, you haven't been in the lodge, you haven't performed, you haven't done anything. So, you know, if you don't have that type of knowledge, what can you say anyway? Mm-hmm. Anything that you're saying is all based in ignorance and superstition.
Wow. So run it back. That was nice with the way you put that. You said if you're not a Mason, you really shouldn't be. You really don't know how to speak on it. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Because there's a lot of materials online. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff online. But again, if you haven't seen it in context, mm-hmm. then you don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, a good parent doesn't walk in their children's, you know, where they're playing or whatever. If a kid is crying, you don't just go in there and start disciplining or, you know, run into judgment because you don't know what happened. Mm-hmm. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up looking like a fool. One of those kids is going to have to explain to you, well, you know, little Johnny fell mm-hmm. because he's chasing the other little girl and he slipped on a toy or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it looked like Johnny beat him up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But he was really kneeling down trying to help him back up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on with Freemasonry. A lot of people speak as if they're subject matter experts because they saw some stuff on the internet or they read some stuff on the internet. But if you haven't been through the Lodge of Confusion, how can you know?
The Lodge of Confusion. I don't know how many other people have been through the Lodge of Confusion. You know, and that's something that people may want to consider too. When you said the Lodge of Confusion, and there is a thing called Lodge of Confusion. I don't know how many people know that. That may be something. That may be another topic for another day. But since you brought that up, could you elaborate on that?
There comes a time when you think you know.
Uh-huh.
And we know that that's symbolic of the life that we live in. Mm-hmm. You know, in the 80s, people thought that crack was something that just showed up on the streets.
Right.
Anybody with a conscious mind understands that whoever created that product mm-hmm. had to be an expert chemist. Mm. Nobody in South Central, nobody in Dade County, nobody in Brooklyn or the Bronx had that type of skill set. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So whoever made that product, that was at a governmental level. Mm-hmm. And history has showed that to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, it was all blamed on, these ghetto drug dealers.
Okay.
No, that was a solid formula. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing that's going on in Masonry. Masonry has a solid formula, and if you've never met the chemist, you don't know what's going on.
Oh, I likes that. If you never met the chemist, you don't know what's going on. Okay.
And most people who speak as subject matter experts on Freemasonry, they've never been in a lodge.
Mm-hmm.
They've never watched. They don't know, what a meeting looks like. They don't know what takes place. It's all speculation.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't not the slightest idea. And even when people like us reach out, and it's happened to me on many occasions.
Okay.
Times where I have openly, been willing to have conversations with people, and they tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Really?
And I've been doing this since I was 21 years old. 43 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they tell me I don't know.
You know what? I've come across people that said the same thing. You hadn't gotten high enough yet.
Right.
You don't know because
Right.
you haven't reached this degree yet or that degree yet. Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with that.
Right, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I was looking at something not too long ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about how Bruce Lee, he would train people, and one of the things he would do, he would engage, in karate with them.
Okay.
And he would do that to see where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And after they would go through their sparring or whatever, he would sit them down at a table, and he would have a glass of Coke in one glass, and he would have a glass of water in the other.
Okay.
He would tell them, you want what I have, which is this, these karate skills.
Right.
But in order to have what I have, you have to pour that out because I won't fit in there. And most people, for some strange reason, when it comes to the topic of Freemasonry, they don't want to pour out their cup because they already know. They already know that Masons are worshiping the devil. They doing this. They doing that, and all of that stuff is symbolic.
Mm-hmm.
And but they don't understand symbology. They don't understand the concept because they don't have a perspective.
Well, what?
And with there's nothing you can tell them.
Okay, because one of the brothers posted back here just a few minutes ago. He says that even the Baphomet has been changed. The real picture has breasts because it's fertility and it's symbolic. So,
Yes.
and it ain't the devil. Terrell said it ain't the devil.
It's a symbol. But when you are emotionally charged, you're going to say emotional stuff. And most people are engaging in apologetics. You know what I'm saying? Most people are trying to, on the low, defend their faith. They're trying to shoo away these quote unquote devil worshippers. But nobody's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who even when you say it, like, has anybody ever looked at the commandments of people in the Church of Satan? It's a pretty moral document. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't take the time to look at their enemy's doctrine. I've looked at their commandments, and it's very interesting.
Wow. Which commandments are you referring to? You talking about the one dealing with Baphomet?
The Church of Satan.
Oh, really? The Church of Satan. You're saying they have their own commandments, huh?
Yep.
You know what? I'm gonna have to Google that. I'm gonna have to look that up. That's pretty interesting. That is pretty interesting. So what do you know? What do you know about the Church of Satan and their commandments?
Well, one says one should strive to act passion and empathy towards all creatures in accordance with reason. Another one says the struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. Another one says one body is inviolable. Subject to one's own will alone. You know what I mean? And think about that. Even the Bible says the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Right.
So we are gods and we are masters of our own universe.
Okay.
And another one says the freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedoms to offend. Now think about that.
Bro, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But again, you know, the person who is not emotional, the person who is actually seeking light, when they see stuff like that come up, they're going to go in there objectively and read their doctrines and see what they talk about. Most people don't. They're like, man, I ain't touching that. I ain't going to hell. I ain't doing this. Well, you, and that makes you ignorant in that area.
Okay.
When your Bible says, in all you're getting, get understanding. That's universal. We should understand everything. Think about it. If me and you are running a business, we're going to study our competitors just as much as we're going to study our own product, you know, and the people who want to consume our product. We have to study our competitors just as much. But people don't do that.
Wow. So do you think that should be applied in some of the things that Freemasonry do?
It is.
Okay. I'm listening.
I mean, it really is, because think about it. No two Masons are the same. You know what I'm saying? You got some Masons who, you know, they go to every lodge meeting, you know, they do their stuff, they handle their business. And then you got other Masons who are heavily, you know, they want to learn, you know, deep stuff. They want to get into the arcane knowledge. They want to get into the esoteric knowledge. They really want to tear that stuff apart and really get into it. And normally the two don't really, you know, they're brothers, they love each other, but they just take different paths as far as the craft is concerned.
Right.
Everybody don't do the same thing in the lodge. But yet we all meet on the square. Okay. That's an interesting way of seeing that. It's funny that you say that you know all lodges don't necessarily do the same thing, but we all meet on the square. I've said some things like that, but I never really quite put it that way, you know. And that just goes back and I just want to make sure that we stay on topic in talking about Baphomet. It just goes back to I know in Detroit, I think that there was a unveiling of a Baphomet there where they had the two kids on the side, and I think that, and they put it next to the Ten Commandments, if I'm not mistaken. So if somebody know about that, please chime in. But I believe that's where it took place at. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, Brother Darnell. It was in Detroit.
Okay.
It was in Detroit.
Okay. That now, and why do you think people got so upset about that?
Ignorance.
ignorance. You see what I'm saying? It's all based on ignorance, because if they understood the symbol, it wouldn't bother them a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just like, an atheist moving on your block. You know what I mean? Most people are going to give him hell because they don't understand what he about. The last time I checked, the demographics, atheists make up less than like 1 or 2% of the prison population. You know what I'm saying? But the reason is they know that they are responsible for their own world. They don't look and say, oh well, if I do this, I can just plead the blood of Jesus on it, or whatever. They take personal accountability for their lives.
Right.
And for a person who ain't stable, a religion like Christianity can be dangerous. Because I could put you in the face and be like, well, Jesus died for that. He forgives me. That's dangerous.
Well, isn't that the same thing as what has taken place, I would say, in the African-American community?
Well, we know that's true. We know that's true. We know that's true. And religion has its place. For some people, they need that type of crutch. But for those who have, graduated, from that type of folklore, and accepted personal accountability, and religion becomes like boot camp.
Okay.
You don't need, when a person graduates boot camp, they don't need to go back there anymore.
Right.
Have the skills that they need for battle. But people say, oh, well, they keep going back and forth to the church. Why? Most people will say, oh, well, you don't forsake the fellowship of the brethren. Well, you can still keep in contact with your people and go do what you need to do. You know what I mean? So our church is an asylum, or what is it? You know what I mean? Like, people should be able to go out and duplicate what the Bible say. They shouldn't have to go back weekly for another dose. That makes the church synthetic. You see what I'm saying? Because think about it, when you take a pill, that pill takes a little bit of herbs or some natural element, but it's flooded with all these synthetic qualities that limits the acting of that pill. So you have to take another one 4 hours later, 6 hours later, 8 hours later. And you can parallel that with the church. If you have to keep going back, then there's a synthetic aspect of spirituality taking place. Because once a shaman is a shaman, he's a shaman. He doesn't have to keep going back to whoever trained him.
Wow, that's that is not what you was trying to convey to me today earlier when we had our conversation.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, because some people who view things that have never been that have never experienced it, then their commentary, their opinion about it is not equal to the one who has experienced it.
Right.
Okay. I'm just making sure I follow you, because sometimes you can shoot deep. I remember our conversations late at nighttime, 1 o'clock at night when we have our study sessions. You can shoot real deep. So I got to make sure I stay on task. So in going back to Baphomet, break that whole. Can you just break some of that down to me, or to us, those who are on tonight?
Well, it's a goat. It's represented by a goat. A goat it's a sure-footed animal. It's a sure-footed animal that has the ability to evade predators.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, there's a candle on his head that represents light, or if you want to get into the crown chakra, or another, which is a whole nother topic. But it's about mental illumination or clarity, or what some refer to as their third eye being open, or things of that nature. When you move down to the chest, there's breast represented that deals with fertility and nourishment. When you move down to the groin, you see a caduceus represent.
Okay.
A caduceus with two serpents, which represents health, vitality, and duality. You know what I'm saying? And this brings forth life. It brings forth nourishment. It brings forth the next generation, and so on and so on. And you get down to his legs. Again, he has those hooves, which gives him the ability to be that sure-footed entity. All of this is symbols, and of course the horns. But this goes into when you get into those, when you start getting into old, if you look at any old statues of Moses always had horns. He always had horns, in those statues.
So tell me this here then. I was looking at a picture of Baphomet, and I've seen two pictures which are different. I've seen one where the Baphomet had breast, and then I've seen one where he didn't have breast. So which one would actually be the correct one? Or is there such a thing as a correct picture of Baphomet?
It's no such thing as a real, you know what I'm saying? Because it's been changed. You can put the breast up there, but that one with the breast wouldn't really be put out in public because it's already offensive, to I guess you would call them cowards and eavesdroppers. Anybody who don't understand the symbology will be considered a coward and an eavesdropper because they don't know.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So they don't know. So to put that image out there with the breast,
Mm-hmm.
it's already offensive to the people who are ignorant as it is. So it would just be more offensive. So
Mm-hmm.
most of the times when you see that image put out in public, they refrain from the breast because they don't want to be too offensive with it, because it's already offensive in its state without that stuff.
Well, tell me this here. You see, the Baphomet usually it has I would say the right arm is going up, but it looks like it's a sign. Almost like the Boy Scout the Boy Scout sign of a Boy Scout, but except for its 3 fingers, it has 2 fingers.
Yeah.
That. Say what now?
It's a symbol of peace.
Oh, okay. Because I've seen that same symbol in pictures that describe Christ. You would see Christ figure or the image of a Christ painting. We would have that same image, that same hand positioning.
Right.
And it means peace, huh?
Right.
Okay. There's a gentleman here. His name is Brother House. I would like for him to comment on that. He seemed to be pretty intelligent in regards to masonry and its I would say its mysteries per se in regards to that particular sign. I see that and I just find that it's interesting. And then I see that it has the legs crossed.
Right.
So does that in itself has a any meaning behind that you may know of?
Not that I know of, because it's sitting.
Okay.
You think about an entity like that sitting, you don't need to worry about having a sure foot when you're in a position of sitting.
Okay.
Cross those legs and be at a position of peace.
Mm-hmm. Because it also has the rod of Moses with the 2 snakes going around it too.
Right. The caduceus.
The caduceus. Okay. What is this? Okay, so you say it's the caduceus. Explain the caduceus.
The caduceus is it represents healing. In the Bible, there was all these snakes going about, and if you got bit, you just looked upon that serpent and you were healed. That was that serpent that Moses had erected, and that serpent, if you looked upon that serpent after you were bitten, you were healed.
Okay. Oh, I never. That's interesting. I got to get back in my Bible a little bit more. Let me see. I think Brother Gilmore. Look at the doctor's emblem. Oh, okay. Yeah. Working in the hospital. Yeah. You're right. Yes. He said, think about it. It's the medical symbol. Yeah, that is correct. I see it all the time. Shit. I see it all the time. Definitely. That's. Yeah. It gives you a whole nother perspective when you're viewing it from that point of view. Okay, so Brother House says the legs cross and represents the link of both life on the right side of the brain and left hemisphere of the right hemisphere, becoming one. And it's a way in yoga they sit. Oh, okay. And then he put lotus, LOTUS position. Yes. Okay. All right. I can appreciate that. So, this is why I ask people, when they come on, if you're not going to bring any context to it, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But go ahead. You got anything else you want to add?
No, that's it, man.
That's it? You're sure?
Yeah, because, I don't want to spin off into nothing wild, man. You know what I'm saying? If we on topic, everything is flowing. But I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this.
Well, see, the thing is that I definitely want to stay on topic. I don't want to get off topic because I know I personally can. I can be all over the map on some things. So what I want to try to do is definitely, bring a topic that's going to get people to think, because when you think of Baphomet and Freemasonry, then you look at the Order of the Eastern Star, that emblem alone is upside down, just like that Baphomet star.
Right.
And I see that people like to transcend that and put the goat head in the center of that.
Right.
So, it just goes back when the brother was like, oh, 90th degree and all that. But if you have been initiated into those degrees and you then understand that it gets more involved with the esoteric side of things, and you begin to see things a little bit more differently than you would if you didn't have those degrees per se.
Right.
And,
right.
And that goes on to say that a lot of people, when you tell a lot of people, yeah, I have this degree or that degree, they may frown upon it because they haven't been exposed to it. A lot of times Freemasons are not exposed to a lot of different degrees, because I do know that overseas they have so many degrees that are not even, I don't want to say part of Freemasonry, but it is like it's just like an addition to, or something to add on to, or something to enlighten you.
Right. It's all about unlocking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The higher you go in anything, there are pastors, who have taken all kind of weird, Bible courses, and they now understand the Bible from different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Because that book is a powerful book.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There are things in there that people read every time they go to church or whenever they crack it, but they haven't the slightest clue as to what they're reading. You know what I mean? And when you start getting into, to Freemasonry, you'll find that, even when you start reading in morals and dogma and things of that nature, you'll see that you have an inner court and an outer court.
Mm-hmm.
Most people in the outer court, they haven't the slightest clue as to what's going on in the inner court.
Mm-hmm.
And if your Grand Lodge leadership is not taking those steps to receive those types of light, and receive those types of keys, then the body can only go where the head takes them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody's going to be subject to their head, even in your own life. If we don't strive to increase our perspective, then we will continually see the world from where we are. And that's why Albert Einstein made that comment. He said, no problem can be solved at the same level it was created.
Okay.
So if we don't elevate our consciousness, we'll continue chasing our tail. And operating in the habits that we've created. And think about it. What's the number one way money is made on this planet?
What's the number one way money is made on the planet?
On this planet.
As you're gonna have to help me on that one.
Through ignorance.
Ooh.
If you don't know how to fix your air conditioner, you gotta hire me to come do it. If you don't understand banking, you gotta trust me with your money. You see what I'm saying? And this goes on and on and on. The largest way money is made on this planet is through ignorance.
Wow. Well, that's because everybody got talents, bro. Everybody got talents now. Everybody got a little talent.
And think about it. The more a person illuminates themselves, the more they can keep their energy. Because money is nothing but energy. But think about it. If I'm a mechanic, think about how much money I save a year. If I've taken, handyman classes, and I go and take the EPA test, and I can go and get Freon and all this other stuff, and I know how to charge my AC and fix that kind of stuff. Think about how much money I save year in and year out.
Wow, you know what? I didn't see that coming from that point of view, bro. I can't lie to you. I didn't see that coming from that point of view. That's yeah, okay. Gotcha. Didn't see that coming from that way. Didn't see it coming. Jeez. Okay. Is there, before we get ready to cut it short tonight, we've been on for a little while, but before we get ready to cut it short, I just want the brothers and the sisters, because there's some sisters who usually tune in and see what's happening, to understand what we try to do here is just to shed light on different perspectives of Freemasonry. Nobody really should uh, what I say, continue to remain in ignorance. Whether we're talking about clandestine masonry, regular versus irregular, whether we're talking about any of those things that keep us divided, those things that really keep us at odds with each other, we really try to shed light on it and just to let everyone know this thing is bigger than where you're at. And I hope that those who's under the sound of our voice can really grab that and really be able to appreciate it.
Right. And at the same time, we are all, I'm limited in what I know, and truth be told, anytime I say anything, my goal is that I'm wrong. Because if I'm wrong, whoever corrects me, they step my game up. You see what I'm saying? And we are living in an information age. So in all actuality, for anybody to remain ignorant in this day and time, that's a sin. Because that's a choice.
I didn't see that coming.
Think about it. We got a computer in our pocket. On us 24/7. So a lot of the questions that we ask them when we sitting in our car, we can Google it. Most people say, well, the information on Google, sometimes it's not reliable. It may not be reliable, but it'll get you at a minimum. It'll get you in the ballpark and give you talking points. So where now you can have a conversation.
Oh my goodness!
And somebody else can
hold on, okay?
And sharpen that iron.
Well, I have Brother House on the line tonight. I'm gonna see if I can bring him on speaker. Brother House.
I'm here.
Okay, talk to me.
And I don't want to cut the brother off. I messaged in there saying I could talk on the creation thing and probably throwing a little extra as well on the old Baphomet confusion and see what I can help with this conversation. I had a couple of minutes.
Okay, go for it. You can add to it, Brother Darnell.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to add to the conversation. You want to stay on and listen, or what do you want to do?
Well, I'll let y'all go, man. I'll listen from the other end.
Okay. Well, I appreciate having Brother Darnell on. He's definitely been an inspiration to me in my lodge. So definitely, Brother Darnell, thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate it.
Right on, man. Appreciate you having me.
All right, thank you. Brother House, go right ahead.
Okay, the brother mentioned, I guess I'll start with the creation thing, was that there are two different creations. When we go to the Bible, we see in chapter 1, where God is creating and forming everything, and we get down to God saying that he will make man in his image. When he makes man in his image, he says, like the brother said, he created them in his image. But what we have to understand, he told them to go and replenish. The key word there is replenish. Now we understand what the word means. That means to do again. So that tells us that something was on the earth before they had to replenish it. So in chapter 1, we pick up on an earth that is desolate, that has become void. And when we look in the Hebrew, the word there is vatohu and vatohu. And most English translations, it says that the earth was void and formless. Well, actually, in the Hebrew, the proper translation of that would be that it became void and desolate. So that lets us know that the earth was here prior to when we pick up in the story of Genesis. Because when we look at Genesis, the very first sentence we get in the English King James versions and stuff, it says,
in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So we get this direct object indicator, the, in the beginning. So that makes us think that this is the beginning of all creation. Well, in the Hebrew, it says, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashemayim wa et ha'eretz. It actually translates to in a beginning. Not the beginning, but in a beginning.
Okay.
So we understand when we look into the language, because the truth is in the language. And a lot of people are lost in translation because people have translated the Hebrew improperly. So when we look at that, understand it's in a beginning and not the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's letting us know that a beginning is restarting. This is not the first, but this is just another beginning of many other beginnings prior to that. And that's how we know in the second verse when it says that Goku, the Tohu, that the earth became void and docile.
Man, you almost got me thinking about the Matrix.
Well, the word matrix is used in the Bible several times.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
And the word matrix in the Hebrew means the womb. And that's when we understand, when you understand what's going on in Genesis, you're actually speaking of the anatomy of a woman. That's the separation of water from the water, because what happens when the woman gets ready to give birth, the water breaks.
Brother. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. So when we get down to it, and it says that God made man in his own image, he created them, he created he, she, them, that lets you know that he's creating a being, he's creating a species, he's creating another source of life on the earth. And he says we must go and multiply and replenish the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, it lets us know that when you look at the word replenish, it lets you know that something had to be there prior to replenish.
Mm.
So when we get to chapter 2, we realize that God has sent these people out to replenish the earth, but in chapter 2, he creates Adam for the dust of the earth and places him into the garden. So this is a completely different creation now.
Mm.
Because the garden was not spoken of being tilled until chapter 2. Chapter 1, he's already created male and female and told them to go replenish.
Mm-hmm.
So when we see Adam in the garden, God places him in there to keep the garden. He tells them to name the animals and things of this nature. He saw that Adam was alone, and he said it is not for man to be alone, so he puts him in a sleep. He takes his rib, he creates a woman from that rib.
Okay.
Because Eve was his helpmate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Eve stands for. That's what it means, a helper. That's why man is supposed to be with woman, because woman helps man.
Mm.
Now, when we fast forward to Cain and Abel, we know what happened with Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel. Cain is sent out. Cain says he is in fear of his life because if they see him, they will kill him. Well, who is they? Who is they? We know Adam and Eve only had two people. Cain and Abel.
Right.
And you don't get until chapter 5 that Adam and Eve had sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
So it couldn't have been Cain marrying his sister, because in chapter 4, Cain got a wife and knew her, or had sex with her, married her, and had a family with her.
It says that he went to a land called Nod.
Exactly. How can that be a name of a place on the earth that is just now being created, and the only people exist on the earth is Adam and Eve?
Whoa. Okay.
So when we have to pay attention. See, when you go to church, honestly, you don't go to church to be taught. You go to church to get a uplifting, motivational speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get taught the Bible. So when people go through the Bible, they read it like in this magical way. You read one verse and then you jump across 5 other books and read another verse. No one opens the book and reads it from the very first page to the last page, word to word, line to line. So they get lost in confusion. And we know who the author of confusion is. So we have to go back and actually read the book as it is written, from the first word to the last word. And when we understand that, we then understand that there was 2 creations done. And Adam and Eve were not the creation that was made in the image of God. So that's the sum of the 2 creations. You have a creation of beings, of people that was literally made in the image of God, and then you have Adam and Eve that was originally placed in the garden solely to work in the garden. That's why they were kicked out of the garden when they learned. See, what we have to understand too is Adam and Eve was ignorant. They had no knowledge. And that's where the whole serpent thing comes in. And the serpent wasn't this actual snake type thing. It was a being that was knowledgeable. And that's where we get the understanding of the serpent from, because in all ancient mythology that honestly predates the writings of the Bible, the serpent has always been understood to be the symbol of knowledge. So that's why they use the word serpent for the Hebrew word neshesh. And the word neshesh just means knowledge, wisdom, omen, to bring understanding and knowledge.
So Brother House, why do you think they've changed it so much to make it seem, or to view the Lucifer, the light bringer, or the serpent to be such an evil factor in all of this?
Well, honestly, it's kind of like the brother said. It goes back to ignorance. You have a group of wise men that know certain things, that is playing on the ignorance of others, and because they're playing on the ignorance of others, they can now hold dominion over them. Because if you hold the knowledge, you then have control over those who don't have knowledge. And that's why Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So if you don't have the knowledge, you can be destroyed for ignorance. So what happens is the church has controlled the whole thing, and they determine what these ministers preach, how they preach, when they preach, and everything. And they know that they're only going to give them 2% of the whole. And those people that's preaching that only got 2% of the whole is going to give the people a 0.5%. So you have people walking around thinking Lucifer is in the garden when Lucifer was only a allegory, a proverb referring to the king of Babylon. And we understand that Lucifer's only used once in the whole book, and it's only used once in a translation of a Hebrew book. So you got a Greek word, Lucifer, in a Hebrew book that's translated into English. So you have created so much confusion that now everybody's looking for Lucifer to be in everything when Lucifer is not there.
Wow. So because is that old cliche, the devil made me do it.
No, the devil did not make anybody do anything. They made themselves do that, because the Bible specifically says, in the Word of God says, and this is God speaking, it's attributed to God's Word. God said, I create light and I create darkness. I heal and I heal. I do all these things. So if that's what God said, then how can Lucifer do anything?
Ooh. Brother House, you know what, bro? That's dropping. That's a nugget right there. That's a gold bar. Because you know as well as I know how people feel about their church. Because I had mentioned to a brother one time, I said, you know, when you become a Christian and when you join a church, you get initiated. And he thought I lost my mind. He was like, initiation? I said, yes, it's a rite.
It is.
You know, and I thought he figured that I had kind of, what do you mean it's a rite? When you join church, you get initiated. There's a rites of passage to become a member of the church, and you get privileges when you become a member.
I mean, what does he think the baptism is? That's an initiation.
It is certainly an initiation.
That is a ritual. That is a rite that you go through.
And you know, a lot of people miss that though.
Yeah, oh yeah, they do.
You know, brother House, what I mean, I didn't even get you to introduce yourself. Why don't you just introduce yourself to everybody?
My name is Robert House. I'm just a well-knowledgeable man. I'm Jewish, born and raised. I speak 5 languages. I just try to spread the truth to all that will listen. Okay. And I'm glad to have you on. I know I get people posting a lot of crazy stuff, and I often tell people, well, if you want to be part of this, I don't mind bringing you on. And this is that platform to where if you got something you want to add, please call it in. Let's have a conversation. But I don't want anyone calling in that's not going to bring some value to the show. Right, and I'm happy you're that way, and I've heard you say that many times, and you actually showed that with the guy RS. I honestly didn't know what was his point. I mean,
yeah,
of saying what he was saying. But when you go to Deuteronomy 32 and 39, and this is attributed to the word specifically of God, and it says, "See now that I am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand." So, if that is the Yod Hey Wah-Hey, if that's Yahweh, if that's the Supreme Being saying, no one can deliver out of my hand, then we have to then understand, we have to ask a question. If this is the all-powerful God, and He says that He kills and He makes alive, that He wounds and He heals, how can you have a Savior come save you from that God?
Whoa. So, you know what? I'm almost lost of words.
So, we have to deal with the book. We have to deal with the book. It's a reason then when you go to the New Testament and the man says to Jesus, "Hey, good sir," and Jesus responds, says, "Why do you call me good? There's only one that's good, and that is God in heaven."
Well, tell me this here. With that being said, why do most people put Christ equal to God, or say that Christ is God?
That is called religious indoctrination.
Okay.
Because once again, like I said, they play on people's ignorance. They know that 9 times out of 10, you're going to come to church and listen to what the preachers say versus read what the book says. If you would go to church, and I know you do, because you make it adamant that you do. Most people in that church haven't opened that book.
You know what? I can attest to that. I can attest to that because sometimes I go to the church and I observe. I'm just there strictly to observe, and I see the minister. He may read some things, and people go to amen, yes, and this and that, but they hadn't cracked open a Bible at all.
Right.
You know,
so they play on their ignorance. So they'll tell you that Jesus is God, and then how can Jesus be God if Jesus says when thou prayest, you pray, "Our Father that are in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
When Jesus said that, Jesus was on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So who then was in heaven?
Mm. Well, see, this is what they say. They said that God manifested Himself in the Word, and the Word became flesh, and that flesh is Christ that was walking amongst the people.
But why would He then say, I'm not good, but He that is in heaven is good?
They would say that was His human side speaking.
See, that doesn't make sense.
But hey, I'm just giving you the kickback. Now you know what they're gonna say.
Right, and I know that, and I've debated many ministers on that, and then I go to what God says, I am He, and there's no God with me.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's no God with Him, then there can't be this Trinity. It can't be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 different gods when He's telling you, I'm the only God.
Okay, that's being. If I see where you're going. With that being said, then, and when you go back to Genesis, and He said, "Let us go down and make man in our image," or is there more than one God with Him, or is there what do you think is happening in that process?
So it tells you that there's principalities and powers.
Mm-hmm.
So we know all through the Bible, God. Let's see, what Jacob fought an angel of the Lord.
Right.
When Moses asked God, "What is your name?"
Mm-hmm.
It tells you in the very second verse of that chapter that Moses was talking to an angel of God. That's who Moses got the name from. He didn't get the name from God Himself.
Mm-hmm.
He got the name from an angel of God.
Mm.
So we know who the us is. The us is the powers, principalities, the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim that sit on the mercy seat, the thousands upon the thousands of thousands of angels that pray before the feet of God. That's the us.
Wow. See, I didn't see that coming. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't see it coming. I'm like a deer caught in the headlights. I did not see that coming, brother. I didn't see it coming at all.
And see, and that's why when we go to Isaiah 45 and 7, I already read what He said in Deuteronomy, but clearly God had to say it again. So He says in Isaiah 45 and 7, I form light and I create darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I make peace and create evil. God just said He creates evil. So if the Supreme Being says, I create evil, what is Satan doing then?
So, Brother Shahid Rahim, I hope I'm not messing his name up, but Brother Shahid, he said, brothers and sisters, follow the traveler. Please check out the Holy Quran and you will be shocked. This brother house is really on point. Okay, so what is it about the Quran that would be shocked, that would make a brother shocked?
Tell Brother Hashid that I say Assalamu alaikum. See, what we have to understand is that you have holy books.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot think and be ignorant enough to think that all of the exact words of God is contained in just the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're talking about an infinite being, and you think that infinite being only said enough words to put in 66 small books that's contained in the Bible.
Right.
So we have to understand that there's other volumes, other books that is a part of this one whole.
Mm-hmm.
And Christians think that they have the whole when they only have a part.
Ooh, the Christians only think they have a part and not the whole.
Exactly.
Okay.
They think they have the whole, but they only have a part of the whole.
Okay.
So, and what people have to understand when you say, when you have a lot of Christians that when they hear the Muslim brothers and sisters say Allah, they say, oh, they praying to another God. Well, no, Allah is just the word for God in Arabic.
Correct.
And when you say Elohei or Elo, that is God in Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
When you say Shiva, that is the infinite God in Hindu, Sanskrit. So we have to understand that what truly separates us is language.
Okay, so in saying that, I'm going back to, you said Shiva.
Shiva.
Okay,
Yes.
so you know when you hear that word, some people think of spooks in the boogeyman.
Yes, they do, because they haven't taken, well, it's like the brother said, they haven't taken their time to do their due diligence to understand, number one, language.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the only word that they have for God is Shiva, then that's what they're going to call God.
Right.
So we have to understand when we go to the Tower of Babel, which is a actual horrible translation. Babel actually is the Hebrew words, compound word for gates of God.
Really?
Yes. And that's why it says, let us go down and see what man is doing. And let us confound
Their language.
tongue. Right.
Okay.
There's that us again.
Mm.
And people fail to understand that Babel is the Hebrew words, compound words for gate of God. So when you understand that, when the tongues was confused, the mind wasn't confused. So if they were going to build this tower up to the heavens because they knew the one true God was up there, and the tongues was changed, the only thing took place is now they have different languages, but they still have the understanding of the one true God.
Mm-hmm.
So if each one of these people, which we know became 70 nations, 70 different tongues, 70 different languages, they still knew of the one God, but they had to write of that one God in different languages. So you get different names for the same one God.
Right. Dang, man, I you know what? I didn't see all this coming tonight, but I'm certainly glad I'm on the show tonight talking about Baphomet, because that brought on a whole nother atmosphere to everything. Because what I find happening is a lot of people are spooked about certain things that they hear and don't really know. And I don't know if you're a Freemason or not. I never asked you, but I respect that what you bring to the table, and this is why I often say that this show. That's what I like about what we do on this end of the spectrum, in regards to Freemasonry, where I feel personally, and I'm thankful to my Grand Master that he sees it that way too. That he would allow me to come on and use the name of the lodge and use the research lodge as this for this show. So this is why we have to keep that open communications.
Yeah, we have to. We have to, because it's so much. We could be truly powerful people if we just honestly stop putting up walls to divide us. Because honestly, what is a door that stays closed? That door becomes a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to start opening those doors.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned the matrix, and it's true. The matrix is very deep if people understand the symbolism that's within it. When in the Matrix 2, when Neo went from one door, he went into a hallway with many other doors.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know what was behind each door until he found an open one. And when he opened that door, he gained more knowledge. So when we look at Christians that think the Bible is the key to everything, they turn their back on opening the door to the Quran or the Vedas or the gates, the books of the gates, the books of the dead. You got to ask yourself, the Bible, and I'm a Jewish man, and I was born and raised Jewish. But the fact of the matter, we did not get our first Bible until the Greeks gave us the Bible in 400 BCE.
Mm.
So, what was taking place before 400 BCE?
Good question.
It was people on the earth. Those people, they knew who God was.
Mm-hmm.
They was writing of God. So, what would make you think that God only came into existence at 400 BCE with the Greek LXX Septuagint? That's foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand that there's other books that's going to give us other understanding and knowledge of this infinite being outside of a Bible that we have been given by King James in 1611 that originally had 82 books in it, but now after 1634 we get a book that's only got 66 books in it.
Roll that back. Go back and repeat that. What you say about them books now?
The original 1611 King James Bible had 82 books in it.
Okay.
Now the Bible that we have after 1634 only has 66 books in it. So your traditional Christian, even if they're reading the Bible, they're not even reading a full Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're still missing 14 books.
Dang.
So this is what I'm saying. If you read the book of Esther, the whole book of Esther is not in your King James Bible.
I'm quiet. I'm quiet.
So this is the stuff that we that Christians fail to understand and fail to see.
So one of the brothers just posted, Brother Gilmore just posted the book of Barabbas.
Okay.
And I've heard of the book of Enoch. Okay, so now Enoch. Now I'm seeing the book.
I was going to say, if you're a Royal Arch Mason, you know Enoch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now I'm seeing that he has the book of Barabbas up here. So, and then I was reading, and I come to find out that Barabbas and Jesus, somehow those names kind of correspond with each other. Have you heard anything in regards to that? Have you come across anything about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. What we have to understand though is in the Aramaic, which they contribute to around the first century that the Jews would have been speaking, and that's pretty true. There is no letter J in Aramaic or Hebrew.
Okay.
So there's no way possible in history ever that any man would have been walking the face of the earth in the Middle East that is a Jewish man or Semitic man with the name Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in Hebrew, there's no letter E. So there's just no way his name would have been Jesus. So they contribute Yeshua or Yeshua to the man Jesus. Now, historically, there has never been a Yeshua or a Jesus to ever walk the face of the earth.
Man, look, I didn't want to be on here for no 2 hours a night. Look.
What we have to understand, in Hebrew, the word S-U-N for the sun in the sky and the S-O-N are interchangeable. O and U are vowels that came into place by the Masoretics when they created the vowel point system to give you a U and an O sound that originally was a part of the 7 vowels. We got 5 vowels now, but it's 7 vowels, and that's why they say the name of God is incredible or unspeakable, because we have in turn lost the 2 vowels that make up his name. But sun and sun only represents the sun, the actual sun in the sky. That's what parent is the son.
I try to tell people that all the time, brother, but they look at me like I'm some type of, what do you mean, Hawkins? What do you mean this? And I say, well, we're in winter time, so the sun is going to die. Just watch around December, you'll see it afterwards rise again. And they be looking at me like I done lost my mind.
Well, see, this says because they are, in the book, Jesus says to the disciples, it is for you to know the mysteries, and I will speak to them in parables.
Mm-hmm.
So you have people that's reading a book that was written by and compiled by people that was going to give this book to initiated people in a certain organization and a certain rite that will understand the symbology and the secrets and the mysteries of the book. Now, when you do the research, it's open knowledge that King James was a master mason. He was a mason. That's the facts of the matter. It's written down. They got the minutes. They know when he was initiated and when he was passed.
Wait a minute. Time out. Now, we're going to really have to go. I don't know I'm glad I got you on the show tonight. I don't know what your schedule is, probably Tuesday. No, I can't do Tuesday. Next week, but we're going to have to continue that one. That King James was a Freemason. Because you're about to change the whole topic, and I'm trying to stay on topic tonight. Jeez.
When we understand these things, we understand that the Bible is a book of symbols, it's a book of astrology, and we understand us being on this phone call 3, 5, and 7. We know what that stands for.
Right.
3, 5, and 7. And we know what is a part of those liberal arts and sciences.
Mm-hmm. And
we know that astrology is a part of it.
Right.
And we know in the Bible, everything takes place under some type of astrological sign. Either the star that the Magi or the wise men followed,
mm-hmm.
or we know that God said in Job, when he was talking to Job, where were you when I hung the earth on its foundation?
Uh-huh.
Well, what foundation? Well, we know if we look at one of the tracing boards, we got foundation pillars that reach up into the heavens, but we don't see what they're holding.
Correct.
Okay. So, and we know that in Genesis it says, I put a firmament in the skies. Well, the firmament is the English translation for the word that means vault or arch. Mm-hmm. And we know about the arch.
Yes.
So, and we know that arch has a cornerstone, and God said he removed the cornerstone when the flood came and the waters above came in. So when people that are initiated, passed, and raised, and they actually do their due diligence, and then they go back to the book that is the sacred divine law, and they actually read that book, they'll understand
mm-hmm.
that book was for people that was initiated, passed, and raised. And that book was written by people that was initiated, passed, and raised. Because I don't want to get too far from subject, but we have to ask ourselves, it's in the Bible, Jesus says that it's allotted for man to die once and then judgment.
Mm-hmm.
If that is the truth, then what was taking place when Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead?
Ooh, I didn't see that coming. You got to stop hitting me with these trucks, brother. Man.
So one of three things happened there. Either Jesus lied and said that man is only allotted to die once, or there is a man that was dead that's still walking the earth right now because he can't die again. Jesus says only allotted to die once, or that man was in a state of darkness, full with and comatose, and Jesus raised him to a what? On a what?
Dead level to living perpendicular.
On the what? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So we have to understand what is taking place in that book. It's a reason why the Mother Mary was under a star in the east, and we have a woman organization that's called Eastern Star. I mean, we have to understand what that book is, what type of knowledge and understanding that that book gives to the reader that has been properly initiated into the order to understand what they're reading. Because when you hear about Jesus, he left and went to Egypt, and he was in Egypt, and then he came and started his ministry. So what was taking place with Jesus in Egypt?
I've often said that he went and I often said that he was initiated.
And so his hands but the Bible.
You know.
And his last raising was when he was baptized by his cousin, John the Baptist.
Right.
Because, see, no one ever mentions, everybody in church speak of Jesus in this immaculate conception. There's no mention in the Bible nowhere about immaculate conception. That is a church creation. But they say, well, Mary didn't know Joseph, and the angel of the Lord did this and they did. Well, no one mentions Zechariah and Rebecca, because the Bible specifically says that when John was born, he was born of the Holy Spirit from birth.
Ooh.
So before Jesus was born with the Holy Spirit from birth, John was born with the Holy Spirit from birth.
Man, you dropping some boulders. You went from nuggets to boulders. I'm telling you, keep rolling.
So this is the problem. When people don't read the book, they don't understand. And the whole thing about Jesus being born of an immaculate conception is also a lie as well. Because the very first book of the New Testament says this is the generation of Jesus Christ, the son of Abraham, the son of David. How can you be the son of two men if you don't have a physical father? And right after that, what do you get? You get a genealogy from Abraham, from David, all the way to Joseph of nothing but men.
And no female.
No female.
That's right.
All the way to Joseph. That's Matthew 1 all the way down to 16. And it tells you, Joseph, the husband of Mary, to whom Jesus is born. So it tells you right there. Now, if people take the time to go to Romans chapter 1, verses 5, it tells you that Jesus was born of the seed of David.
Man, look.
I don't get a whole lot out.
You know what? There is not enough time right now for what I want to really go into. What I need, I want to just have you on, bro, one day so you can just really hit and not be interrupted, but definitely where I can pose questions and you can just hit it off, because right now this conversation can really go on and I have a lot of questions I want to ask you, but you know, I don't want to take it to other places because I try to stay on topic like the Baphomet thing, but even though we have proceeded on from there, but the knowledge that you have dropped is I appreciate it, because you know I've heard some things before, but hearing from you as far as you being a person who speaks 5 languages and who can really break down language really adds volume to what has already been given to me and explained to me?
Well, I was able to get the baby to sleep early. That's why I jumped in and I put a message that I could call. I don't think you saw it, so that's why I just went on the call. But I got the number that you put in the chat. I got it wrote down. So if that's the number you're gonna keep, I'll make sure I have it.
Yeah, that's the number we kept for the show. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, because I told you, I said we was gonna get on. I said we was gonna rap. I said it. I'm a man of word, and we definitely gonna do it again.
Oh yeah, this has to happen again. So before I log off, before I go off tonight, I just want to let you know how much I appreciate the fact that you're coming on. And my brother Darnell, from my lodge, he's in Texas right now, so he's moved to Texas. So I want to appreciate him coming on, and having both of you gentlemen on tonight really does my heart joy. And I just want to say, for anybody who's watching the show and they may have questions and anything, I mean, anything that we can enlighten individuals on as far as Masonry is concerned, this is what we're all about. No one should be, in my opinion, disrespecting another brother because he made a choice to join another lodge that is not your lodge or somebody else's lodge. This is all about enlightening individuals, be it a sister or a brother, in regards to the order or in regards to the craft. And I certainly appreciate you coming on tonight, dropping some nuggets. That's an honor.
Yes, sir. Also, I hop on the Baphomet again. Originally, the Baphomet had one breast and one male chest, showing the unity of man and woman. And that goes back to Hermes Trismegistus of Greek mythology, which came from Thoth, the Egyptian god Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Moses, as the brother mentioned, Moses with the horns. Moses is depicted in statue form with two rays of light coming out of his head, representing knowledge and the elimination of the mind. And that's where you get the fire or torch coming out of the head of the Baphomet, the elimination of the mind, the light bringer, which people, look at Lucifer in the Bible. The word Lucifer means bringer of light, and Jesus said himself in Revelations 22 and 16 that I am the son and the offspring of David and the bright morning star bringer of light. So, yeah. But with the legs crossed, that is basically in what is considered the yogic lotus position.
Mm-hmm.
In the lotus position, whenever you cross the right hand over the center line or the left leg over the center line, that makes the right side of the hemisphere of the brain work, and that's where wisdom is stored. Logic is in the left hemisphere, and wisdom is in the right hemisphere.
Uh-huh.
And that's where you get to understand Boaz and Yakin, because that represents strength and establishment. The word Boaz and the word Yakin, literally the Hebrew words literally meaning establish and strength. It's not alluded to, that's what it says. But they represent the left and the right hemisphere of the brain, and within that brain we understand is where the holiest of holies is, the pineal gland, and that's why Jacob said, I saw God face to face, and I will name that place Pineal, for I have seen God face to face. So
I'm angry. I'm mad at you, Brother House. Man. So look. Oh my goodness. Yes. This can go on, brother, for another hour, but I don't.
No, I understand.
Dang. Hey. I'm gonna have to close it down, but you gotta come back though. You gotta come back, bro.
No problem.
You gotta come back, definitely. So I'm gonna go ahead and close it out on that note because, I better do that because we're about 10 minutes out from the 2-hour mark, and some people attention spans don't last that long, and I know I'm one of them. But since I'm always on here, I like to hear what my person has to say on the other end, like yourself. So,
Okay.
with that being said, I want to just say thank you for coming on tonight, and thank you to Brother Darnell again for for dropping his dimes, nickels, and quarters, and dollars and cents, and everything else that came along with it. He really opened up the door for this dialogue, and I just want to send him a big shout out to you, Brother House. I want to thank you for coming on and definitely really open up the minds of a lot of individuals that come on here and really try to criticize the show and to really just cause it some harm. And that's not really what it's all about.
No, sir. And just know I am accepted and taken amongst brothers.
Got you. I will leave it at that. So, to next. Oh, wait, hold on. More questions, please. Oh man, look. I tell you what. This is what we're gonna do, Brother House. If you have the time, we're gonna. We got about what another 10 minutes. Can you shed some light on anything you want to? Another 10 minutes.
Another 10 minutes. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Like I said in Romans chapter 1 and verse 3, it says, concerning the Son, Jesus Christ our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh. So, that's in the book. That's
Okay.
what it's telling you. So it's telling you over and over and over again that, and this is what actually makes Jesus special, because they wanted to make Jesus special by making him being born different than us. But the book actually tells us that he's born just like us. And because of that, it lets us know that we can do the same things. We can keep the laws, we can be righteous, we can be good as we were supposed to be in the beginning. We were supposed to be obedient and we were supposed to be doing this thing. And that's the whole thing, the true concept of Jesus, letting you know, hey, I was born just like y'all. I came through the womb of a woman. I came through the seed of a man, because in order for Jesus to be King of Kings and to sit on the throne of David, he has to be a descendant of David. And that it's in the book. It says that. So him being a descendant of David lets you know that he's a seed of David, and that's why Matthew 1 and 1 says he's the son of David. So he came through the loins, just like God promised that through the loins of David, the king will sit on your throne. So when we understand that, then we can look at we then have to look in the mirror at ourselves and saying, and actually ask ourselves, are we doing what we're supposed to do? Are we being righteous? Are we keeping true to what we're supposed to, what we're put here to do? See, everybody thinks just because you say, I'm going to bathe in the blood of Jesus, that you're covered. That's not what the book says. Because Jesus says, I come not to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. So one jot, one tittle of the earth and the heavens pass, nor shall the law. So you have so many people that'll tell you, oh, don't worry about the law no more. Jesus died for your sins and all that. Well, Jesus never said, I died for your sins. He said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. So by being the way, he's showing you the way. Being the truth is he's telling you the truth. And by the way and the truth that you have received by example of him, then you will receive eternal life. And
now some people are going to get, when they go back and watch this part, at that 153 mark where you said that Jesus never said. Now some people ain't able to take that.
Well, because they only know what the preacher said, and they don't know what the person they claim they follow and worship said. And that's the problem. They made sure they put it all in red, but apparently people don't read what's in red. That's why Jesus says, those who believe on me, as the scripture has said, the work that I have done, you shall do even greater works. So if he said that, why we don't see people doing the works that he did.
Ooh. So I'm going to answer that. But I have a brother on here, Antonio. He said, I'm a Prince Hall Mason, and I was told by older Masons that me knowing this type of information will get me in trouble. Why would it get me in trouble if I'm learning the truth behind it all?
Well, we're not to, give bad report on the brother. I'm just going to tell you, that ain't the truth.
Right?
Because if it's in the book that you kissed, then you need to know what's in the book.
Uh-huh.
If you're gonna kiss something that takes this on that, and you're gonna be held by that, then you might want to know word for word what's in that book,
Mm-hmm.
and why it's in that book. And if anybody tell you don't research and understand as much as you can by that book that you swore on,
Mm-hmm.
they are not for you.
Wow. Okay. That's it right there in a nutshell. And this is the thing that keeps us all divided. I mean, people often talk about, and I'm not trying to get off the subject. We're sort of open now. I mean, the Baphomet thing was great, but we're sort of open now because of we got about 4 or 5 more minutes here left. But that just goes to show you that if we would all just come to the table and talk in regards to Freemasonry and what this craft can really do for people, individuals in the Order of the Eastern Star, we'll find that it can really do what it's supposed to do. If you remember, you know exactly what I'm saying. But we get so caught up in paperwork, and your papers aren't right. You didn't come here, you didn't come from there. And it really stifles Freemasonry, in my opinion.
It does, because the white brothers and sisters ain't doing that.
That's true.
And once again, I hate to say it, but it goes back to the house slaves and the field slaves, all over again. And that's the biggest issue with us. One wants to feel like they're superior than the other when we both look in the mirror and see the same thing.
Well, what I've done, I've actually gone over to 2 pages. I went over to the Masonic Roundtable, and I asked them would they like to come on the show or even have me on their show. I also went over to the Prince Hall think tank and did the same thing. And the reason I did that is to clearly say, look, you can't have debate or dialogue when everybody agrees with you.
Oh, that's true. It's not a debate then.
No. And this is what I see that they try to do a lot of times in those two on those 2 shows. I mean, some of the shows are pretty good. I've learned some things from the shows, but what I find is that they don't have opposition to disagree. It's always agreeable.
Right.
And this is why I actually went on there, just to say, okay, look, you need another perspective, in what you're saying about somebody else.
Right.
So, and that's why I try to keep this show here open. I mean, because I don't know everything, but I believe if somebody can come and shed some light and show me another door, I can probably see it from their point of view. I don't always have to agree, but I can agree to disagree and say I understand, and try to indulge myself in what they're trying to, in the way they're trying to point me and to go.
Right. So this is what I'm gonna do, and hopefully even once this plays back and people can just come to it, and if they make it to this point, and those who are listening, I want y'all to write these simple scriptures down, and go back and check yourself. But this is in Hebrews chapter 2. This is going to be verses 14 to 17.
Hold on just a second. I'm writing it down. Hold on.
Okay.
Hebrew what?
Hebrews chapter 2, verses 14 through 17.
Got it.
Well, we go ahead to 18.
Okay.
And this is what it says. Now, and the reason I'm going here in the New Testament, because a lot of Christians don't like to deal with the Old Testament, and that's fine. But if you're going to deal with it as it is written, and you then have to debate the words on the page, and not me or anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it says. For as much then as the children are partakers of the flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that has the power of death, and that is the devil, and deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. For verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. Wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made unto his brethren, that he may be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of his people. For in that he himself hath suffered being tempted, he is able to secure them that are tempted. So that tells you clear, point blank, that Jesus did not come to this world like an angel. He came to this world the same way as his brother.
Well, that's a gold bar for you right there. So, okay. So, Brother Shahid just said, he said the Masonic Round Table is some good brothers too. They also clarify what you said about the 97 degree in masonry, just like you said they would. Oh, okay. I appreciate that, Brother Shahid.
Right. So that's the thing. You know, I'm the type of person, like I told you, mentioned in the group, in the chat a couple weeks ago, I've read the Bible 200 plus times. I haven't lost count now. I've read it in 3 different languages. I know it front and back. I know what's in there, and I know what's not in there. So when I talk, I make sure, just like if you're in school and you're doing a research paper, you have to cite your sources. So what I do is I let the book speak for itself. That way, you're not mad at me. You're mad at the book. And then you have to now take it up with the person that lied to you on what the book said.
Okay, so I got one question left, and this is going to be the last question for the night. This brother asks, is masonry part of the agnostic, I think, aka SHIC records?
The Akashic records?
Yes.
Is masonry a part of the Akashic records?
Correct.
Well, the Akashic records is what actually predates masonry, because the Akashic record is going to be what is considered divine or spiritual records, or the divine memory of the divine source. So that would technically be the memory and understanding of the Creator, the infinite one. So masonry would ultimately spun out of that. It wouldn't be a part of that. Masonry would be from that. So when we understand that everything that takes place in the Bible or any book of God has to deal with divine geometry, we understand when we get the geometry that masonry has. So when we understand that God says, make the Ark of the Covenant X amount of cubits high, X amount of cubits deep, X amount of cubits wide, we know when you take a point to a line and a line to it, and so on, we understand where you get the geometry for these things. The same way with the Ark, Noah's Ark. He said, make it X amount of cubits wide, X amount of cubits high. That's sacred geometry. So all of that was already in the Akashic records, or the divine memory of the divine mind, the divine source. And it was given to man to do work with. So masonry would be from that, but it wouldn't really necessarily be a part of it because it predates masonry. It's like if I do a painting, my fingerprint is in the art, but I'm not a part of the art because I'm outside of the art.
Gotcha.
So that's how it is, and that's what people have to understand with God. If the infinite being is God itself, is when the word Yahweh Wawhe, the tetragram is in the 4 letters of God, the Hebrew word for God, and the English they give it Yahweh. But that word literally means it that causes to exist. So because that being, that force exists, we all exist. So if everything exists within that being, where does that being move? It cannot move because there's nowhere else to move because everything is within it. So that being simply is. And that's why he says, for I'm the Lord, I change not. Movement would be changed. Him coming to earth as a man would be changed. Him fighting with Jacob would be changed. Walking with Enoch would be changed. He said, I don't change. So what people have to understand is the true parable behind when Jacob went to sleep and he saw the stairway to heaven and he saw God at the top of the stairway with angels ascending and descending. You have to understand what is taking place. And that's why when we go back to the Baphomet and he has one arm pointing up and one arm pointing down, that represents as above, so below, so within, so without, lets you know why Jesus says, no, ye are the temple of the kingdom of God, and seek ye first. Did it not say in your law that ye are God? So why would you say or get mad when I say I and him are one?
You know what? I'm gonna go, bro. We 10 minutes over now, and people are still putting up questions and yeah. I tell you what, I'm gonna say this here, Brother House, before we go. Anytime you want to call in, you can do that, bro, because you and Brother Jackson really add flavor. You bring a whole nother perspective, and I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and log off tonight, bro. I appreciate everybody. And as I say always, stay out them bushes and keep your light on. And Brother House, take care of that family, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace and greetings to everyone. And be safe over the holidays.
All right.
All right. Later.